You're watching The Sports Objective, the podcast for Pirates.
ECU, Pirate Nation, Purple and Gold family, stand to your feet, put your crossbones up, and lean side to side, yeah, and lean side to side, yeah, and lean side to side. Come on, yeah. Welcome to the island, man. It's crazy in here. A whole sea of purple and gold waving in.
Welcome into the Pirate Football Playback, brought to you by L&K Custom Homes. Kevin Walker, give him a call. He's a licensed general contractor at 336-688-8461. Want to give a shout out to our great producer. He'll be with us in just a second, and that is Bubba Rosenbaum from China Grove. But now let's go across the state to Kyle from the Grange Barber. How are you, sir?
What's going on, guys? Good to win again. About forgot what it was like. Good win yesterday. Defense, special teams played well.
No doubt. As we bring in Matt Simmons, and we have a new slogan, by the way, Kyle, for Connecticut, where the taxes are high and the temperatures are low.
It's a perfect slogan. I love that. I love that. What's up, guys? Great effort by the defense yesterday. I got to say, great effort. These guys were flying around. I mean, we looked very fast on defense yesterday, completely locked down Florida Atlantic. And, I expected a close game, but I thought Florida Atlantic would be able to put up more points than they did. So the fact that we held them to 7, and really, when you go back and look, I think we started the game with 5 straight 3-and-outs. I mean, that is a really hard thing to do, and just a great job by Blake Harrell and the defense.
No question. In fact, I was planning on going that game. I'm glad I didn't go because I think that's why we won. I was going to take the kids, but after I filed for office, I was like, man, I'm going to be tired after all that campaigning. So I decided against it, and I'm glad I didn't go to the game. We win the game, and now 2-8 on the year, and looking forward to now next up on the clock is Navy. Overall, I was really impressed. Those special teams really came up big for us, guys.
Yeah, pump block. 5 made field goals by Conrad. Special teams played extremely well yesterday. Great kickoff coverage, punt coverage. Special teams was spectacular yesterday. And if you're going to not have an offense and you're going to win with defense, you've got to have that kind of play for special teams. We could have done that earlier in the year. We'd have a couple of wins now. But would it be interesting to see, can we do it the rest of the year? Can we do it these next 2? We won yesterday. Navy, they're still playing for bowl eligibility. They're up next in Tulsa. Can we close with 3 straight wins? But very impressed with special teams yesterday. That kind of effort is hard to duplicate, but hopefully we can do just that, duplicate it these next 2 weeks. Would we prefer not to have to kick so many field goals? It'd be nice we could finish those drives with touchdowns. We don't want to have a 5 field goal game again, but it's better than no points.
No doubt. And by the way, Craig says, "What's up, you crazy kids? Our defense deserves a winning record. What a frustrating offensive season." Yeah. Bubba makes a great point. New record for Andrew Conrad, a school record. 5 field goals or 40-plus yards.
I was wondering if that was a record. I guess 5 from that distance. I knew he kicked 5 field goals in the game before, but yeah, all 5 of them being from plus 40. Yeah, that's fantastic. Hopefully that's a big confidence builder for him going forward.
Craig said, we won, but it didn't feel like a win to me. Conrad won the game with long field goals because our offense was ineffective. What a performance by Conrad. Hey.
I mean, it felt like a win to me. I mean, it takes, there's 3 sides of the ball. The defense played well. The offense moved the ball and got us some field goal range. We finished up with field goals. Was it a perfect performance? No. But it felt like a win. I mean, I don't look at this point. Beggars can't be choosers.
Right.
Am I happy with the offensive performance yesterday? Absolutely not. It was atrocious. But defense and special teams certainly bailed us out, and I thought we were going to be able to run the ball on them a little better than we did. Their run defense is very mediocre at best, and I thought we would be able to establish a run. We tried, didn't succeed. Only I think it was 79 rushing yards on 30-something attempts. So that's not going to get it done. But Craig, I'll disagree with you respectively. It did still feel like a win.
And by the way, Bubba's saying that 5 is a record per fact book, that Jake Verity had the most with 4. So it's a record.
Really? That 5 was the most ever in a game, period. Okay. I thought maybe it was over 40. Okay. Well, congrats to Conrad. Yeah,
the SID, Chip Welch is assistant football director, but he said that 540 plus is a record. So not only is that a record, but evidently 5 is a record. So anyway, regardless, 5 field goals in a game. Hey, we'll take it. We get the win. And what did you guys think as far as I agree with you, Kyle. I thought that the way that Gerald Green started out, I thought we were going to see the running game be a huge factor for us yesterday. That was one of my disappointments for the game.
Yeah, and Matt, I don't know if Bubba, either one of you have the stats. Who got the most carries yesterday? Was it Gerald? Was it Rajay?
I think it's Gerald Green.
I was distracted for the first half and part of the third quarter of that game. I was watching it on the phone. I only got to watch the fourth quarter on TV. But I
think Green off the top with the stat sheet I saw this afternoon had the most. But
Gerald Green had 15. Rajay had 11.
Okay. Okay. So 15 carries for Gerald. So I can't complain about that. I'm surprised he wasn't a little bit more productive. But
Bond was back. That was good.
Yeah, obviously still very limited because we only saw him carry it a couple times.
Yeah.
But maybe he'll hit a big play against Navy. Navy likes to blitz a lot. So your opportunities to score against Navy, we're going to hit an explosion play. So having Bond back against Navy will be big. We're not going to drive the field on Navy because of the way they play defense. Kind of the way you have to attack Navy with how much they blitz is to hit them with an explosion play. So it'll be interesting to see if we can do that. Bond would certainly help with that ability. Matt, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think Bond is one of the few guys we have, maybe the only guy we have that has like the home run hitting ability. And you saw it yesterday. There was a play.
Yeah.
Right before halftime, where it was just a little, it's like a little check down, where we.
I liked that play call too.
I did as well, and you saw the speed. I mean, his speed just pops at you. Like you can't miss that when you see it.
Right.
And so I obviously like that. Gerald Green, I like what he brings to the table too, especially behind this offensive line because like. For this type of offensive line that you just don't get any push and there's really not much space whatsoever. So the idea of having a smaller, shifty guy, dare I say Kyle's favorite running back, like a Vintavious Cooper, would be one of the few guys that could really do something behind this offensive line because, you can kind of fit in behind the big offensive lineman and you can kind of fit through little holes. So I think this year you're going to have more success with a Gerald Green than you will with, like a Rajay. That's just my opinion.
And like we talked about before is that I think Rajay is a great back. I think the thing is, like we talked about, is that you put him in different packages, different short yardage stuff, goal line things. He has ability to run. But when you have guys like we talked about, you have Marlon Gunn, Javian Bond.
Yeah, where the hell is Marlon Gunn?
He played yesterday.
Yeah, he hasn't got very many carries this year, I guess.
Yeah, he's, you haven't even seen Pop McKay. He hasn't even played. He's been hurt. You have Javian Bond has been hurt. You have Marlon Gunn that's been hurt. I mean, it's the running back room. We have a lot of talent, but thankfully we have depth because a lot of them have been hurt.
Well, Raji is our best blocking back and knows the blocking schemes. So you kind of show your hand a lot of times when you play one of the other backs. Gerald Green seems to be the next best at the blocking now that he's healthy. I I think if Green would have been healthy all year, you'd probably see more of him because he can block. He can do what Rajay does, plus more effective running the ball behind a not so good offensive line. Because like you said, Matt, you kind of need with a bad offensive line. There's two schools of thought. You need a guy who can make his own yardage, meaning he can get in there, rumble, bumble, get 3 or 4 yards on his own. Or you need a guy who can hit a hole fast when it's there briefly, get through it, and make some yards on his own with speed. And I think we're better off probably doing the latter with a Gerald Green or a Bond or like I said, I don't know what's up with Gunn. If Gunn must be really banged up, or he would be seeing more carries, or either he just can't block. So I
is saying Gunn will enter the transfer portal, but I think he's just been hurt. He's been hurt. That's his problem. It hasn't been because of talent. He's just been hurt, and they've been trying, but because the running back room is loaded, probably the best room we have in the whole football team. That's why they've been careful with Javius Bond and with Gunn of not like getting them really hurt. And
well,
you had
Bond we has been acknowledged that he's been injured. Gunn really banged up.
Yeah, and it seems like that position is not really based so much on production as it is. It just seems like Rajay is just slotted in as that number one back, no matter what.
Well, how important?
I don't really get that. I don't really get that.
Do you think it's the block? I think, Matt, it's because of blocking.
It could be. I mean, it could be. It could be just comfort level with the scheme, but like, I just don't get it, man. Like, I
don't either.
I love Rajay. Like, I think I say this all the time. He is really good in short yardage. He is really good in goal line. But he hasn't been the most productive back. Now, with that said, listen, you could have Walter Payton behind this offensive line, and they're not going to run for 1,000 yards. This offensive line is historically bad. It is historically bad. We get no push. We can't protect. We can't open a hole. It is awful. And
that's why we're 2-8.
When you watch, I'll tell you, Flynn actually, I thought Flynn played his best game yesterday. He delivered some nice strikes down the field. You take away the one interception, which he was an underthrow into double coverage, but he threw some nice balls. Now, this guy is, I mean, the second he gets the ball in his hands, he's under duress. The pocket is collapsing. We're not given any protection. If the offensive tackles aren't breaking down, there's pressure coming inside. It's bad. God, I can't stress enough, guys, how bad it is up front right now. And it's got to be frustrating especially if you're a running back, because I mean, you're getting hit by the time you get the ball in your hands. There is penetration in the backfield, and sometimes you're getting hit, and it's just unbelievable. I mean, I've never seen anything quite like
that. And that's what scares me about Navy coming up. While Navy talent-wise certainly does not even have the talent Florida Atlantic has, their blitzing schemes are so complex, and they do such a good job getting pressure on the quarterback. At least when I've watched them play, I don't know what their stats bear, but when I've watched them play, they're very, very pressure oriented. They blitz a lot. So while I think our defense will do a good job shutting Navy down, I worry about their defense against our offensive line.
It's going to be interesting to see, but what do you guys think, though, with not having the chop block anymore for Navy? They don't have that anymore. And I really believe that maybe, just maybe, what as far as the confidence level, this team finally getting a win, and thankfully it comes 1 week before Navy. Don't you think that'll roll over into next week?
Well, I think Navy offensively this year, they're not doing. They still run some triple option, but they're not doing all triple option. They put up 31 yesterday against UAB, which was a little surprising. UAB's defense hasn't been good. It was more surprising they held them at 6. UAB's offense is good. I think Navy's got a good defense. I think their offense is week to week. It is a very winnable game, but it also is a game that I wouldn't be surprised if we lost at all. The spread is 3. Navy's a 3-point favorite, and I know we're talking more about Navy than Florida Atlantic, and that's okay. But this is one to me in a season that has been shitty beyond belief. That I still want it. This will mean something to me. Navy's still playing for bowl eligibility. Navy's a team that we've only beaten twice ever. Both times in Annapolis, oddly enough, both on last second or because of last second field goals. One because we made one because Navy missed one back in 2011. So this is one I really want. If there's one team in the American that I really, I wouldn't say hate because I respect them for who they are and what they do, but Navy, this is one that I always have circled, and even during a bad year, if we can win this game, that'll be enough for me to say I'll concede that Houston will get another year. So I really hope we can get this one done.
Yeah, and if you win this one, then you feel like we have a good shot to win the Tulsa game.
Absolutely, but the Navy game just on its own means a lot to me.
Of
and
course.
I think it does to a lot of Pirate fans. Matt, I think you can't stand them.
They make me.
Oh yeah, I hate that style offense, and they've just had so much success against us. Now, I do think defensively this year we match up really well with Navy.
Yep.
Like I think we're going to give them major problems because we're able to get penetration up front, especially against the running game.
Yeah, take the under.
Yeah, take the under.
Oh my God,
I love the under. I love the under.
What's the over under, by the way?
Like 37, I believe.
I tell you, I think we can really defensively. This is going to be a low scoring game. We're going to be able to make some plays defensively on them.
It may be nothing as we go in the fourth.
Exactly. Oh my God.
Could be.
It's going to be a great game. I'm really excited about it. I wish I could go to the game on Saturday. I don't know if Bubba's going. He's watching on YouTube. But I would love to. I wish I could. I know it's a beautiful campus, and would love to be able to go to that. No, game.
I can answer that for you. Unless Bubba and his dad had planned to go preseason, I'm quite sure they're not making the trip with our record to Annapolis, Maryland, for the game. But back to this week's game. We'll look at more Navy later on in the week. I was the block punt. I was really pleased to see us score a touchdown after the blocked punt, the touchdown run by Gerald Green. To me, that was key. If you'd have had to settle for a field goal there, I think that really could have changed the momentum of that whole ball game. So I was really glad to see us score a touchdown. Our only offensive touchdown of the whole game, despite scoring 23 points, was right there coming off that blocked punt. Matt, talk about how important it is, in your opinion, when you block a punt. That is a situation you got to put 6 on the board.
Yeah, no, especially when your offense is like this. I mean, when you have an opportunity deep in plus territory, that is a great chance to score a touchdown.
And it's such a momentum play too. So to me, even getting a field goal off of it just kills the momentum.
Yeah, I absolutely. It's one of those things, like, to your point, we talk a lot about this year. We haven't been able to play complementary football where, you're able to special teams complements the offense and you know what I'm saying? I mean, we just haven't had that. So yesterday we saw that, and that was great to see. I mean, true freshman, I believe, blocked that punt. Great job by him to be able to get in there and get his hand on the ball, and big play in the game. I mean, and then Green with a really nice cut.
Yep.
To take it to the house there. That was an impressive. He was 1-on-1 in the hole, and he was able to make a jump cut and take it to the house. So
yeah,
nice
I like the way Green runs. You mentioned the jump cut. Like to see us get him the ball in space more. I don't know. We haven't thrown it to him very much. I'm always a big fan of throwing it to the running backs, like we did that one play to Bond. I'd like to see us throw it to Green some, depending on how his hands are.
Yeah, absolutely. Get him the ball when you can, and it's just nothing's coming easy in this passing game right now. Just the pocket collapses so quickly. I think some of the things that positive, jumping out to me a little bit. Sowell continues to get better. Really like his development. He seems to get more comfortable, it looks like, every week. I like that we're getting the young tight ends involved a little bit, DeCirio, Riles, and Ferguson. So some good stuff there. It's just when you can't block up front, and I don't want to sound like a broken record, but when you can't block anybody up front, it's just hard to get anything going.
No, I agree with you 100%. And, you mentioned – I'm going to kill my dog. You mentioned Sowell making some good catches yesterday. He did. Jalen, again, I was distracted for a big portion of the game, all the first half and part of the third quarter. Jalen Johnson, it seems like Matt, help me, Dave. It seems like he had an opportunity to make a big play yesterday, like an obvious would have been a touchdown play, and drop the ball. But am I remembering right? Remember wrong? I got to go back and watch the game.
No,
Matt,
you're right. Before
okay.
Halftime. That's what you're thinking of, right?
Yes. Now that you said that, yes.
Yeah, I mean, that would have been at minimum another 3 points there had he made that catch. It's just been that type of year for him, It's
he's got to step up. I mean, he's got to, Jalen. Look, I don't know if anybody out there, gets this podcast, any of the players, Meador, if you're out there, Jalen. Look, I've seen you make plays, man. I've seen it. You got talent. You got 2 more games in your career. I believe he's a senior. You got 2 more games to show out and show up and show what you can do. It needs to start this weekend against Navy, man. You get the ball near you, catch it, make a play, make something happen. You got it in, you put it out. You got it in you to show it. We've seen you do it before. I am challenging you. Somebody get it to him. I'm challenging Jalen Johnson to step up these next 2 games and be the player we know you can be. You can get open. If you can get open, that means all you got to do is make the damn catch.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it's a big plays in the game. And that's the difference. You look back to last year and we were making those catches. Yeah. We were making those catches with Winstead.
And you can't put that on the O-line. When he gets the ball to him, make the damn catch.
And that's been the story as they were talking about the radio network guys. I was watching. I have that weird thing where I like to watch and listen to the broadcast, but Zoki said that's the story of the season. The quarterback play is inexperienced, but when they make a nice throw, that was one that they were talking about that could have been, like you said, I'm sorry, I had some trouble with my internet, technical difficulties, but he makes a catch. He should have made that catch and he could have had a touchdown or a really big play. And instead it's a drop pass. And with, like Andrew Bays was talking about, you can't have this team where they're, in other words, it's 2nd and 10, 3rd and 10, where we're behind the chains, where you need to give these quarterbacks small yardage especially on 3rd down.
Yeah, we don't need negative plays, and we'll have some negative plays this week against Navy just by the way they play defense. So that's something you're talking about from playing from behind the chains. But when the quarterback gets the ball to you, you got to make these catches. And you said, Matt, you thought Flynn played well yesterday. Do we know? Does anybody know yet what Flynn's going to do? He's in medical school. Everybody seems to think, despite having 1 more year of eligibility left, he's going to be done with football after this year. Does everybody know if that's the case? Will he be in the mix next year along with, I hear, besides the freshman coming in from Kentucky, we're going to bring in either a portal quarterback and a JUCO quarterback or 2 portal quarterbacks. We have an offer out there to a JUCO quarterback that played at Southern Miss, was very injury prone, very talented kid. But do we know what Flynn's intentions are? Does anybody know?
I know he's working on finishing his MBA, so with his master's, so he'll have that done, and then he has 1 more year, right, of eligibility. So
right, yeah, but I heard medical school, is kind of. I don't see him playing next year. I think he's going to be on the medical school.
That's a possibility.
Who could fault him? I mean, if he's ready to move on and get on with his He's got a great career ahead of him, man. And you got to give the kid credit. I mean, this is a tough year for everybody.
Stuck by the program.
Yeah. Tough year for him. I mean, listen, that is the type of kid, like, I have a lot of respect for, especially in this day and age when it's so easy for kids to just bounce, hit the portal. Oh, I'm not playing for a few months. I'm going to hit the portal. It's so easy. Here's a kid that stuck by for 4 years before he got on the field. So I'm gonna show him respect, regardless of really what happens on the field. I just appreciate that, and I was happy to see him play well yesterday. Wish he could get some more help from that O-line though, and his receiver.
Yeah, that's what I was. That's kind of what I was thinking. If he continues to show improvement, with a better O-line, I definitely think there's better quarterback options out there, and we're going to explore it. But I'd be interested to see if he comes back next year and competes for the starting job. Mason, on the other hand, as we look forward to next year, and we got plenty more time to do that. But you guys, Matt, if you were gonna, look at a crystal ball, let's just pretend that Mason doesn't transfer. Where do you think he could land on the field? Do you think tight end? Would you move him to running back or wide receiver? I guess you'd have to see him in practice to really evaluate that.
Hard to say, because I don't really know his skill set. I don't know if he can go out and catch the ball. I mean, if anything, it would be in kind of like an H-back type role.
Right.
And you could use him. You could continue to use him in like a wildcat goal line type situation where, hey, you get the ball 1st and 2, first and goal from the 2. And you could just basically run quarterback power with him. I mean, there's areas you could use him. I just don't know if it's not best for him and maybe everybody just to kind of get a clean break there.
Yeah, go somewhere else. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's not a bad. I don't think that's always a bad thing. I don't think it's always a bad thing. I think sometimes it's good for people. And maybe he can find a home in a different style of offense where it's a run first, kind of more of like a little option style type offense where he can just use his feet. He hasn't shown the ability to throw the ball and read defenses, so it's going to have to be a different system.
And the question is, what kind of offense are we going to be running around here next year? Are we going to, with a new OC, going to still be doing the same old thing? Hey, Matt, I just saw Penn State fired their OC. What are your thoughts on him?
Yeah, all Penn State fans were very frustrated. Some really bizarre play calling from him. He just does some really strange things. Like he'll throw on 3rd and 1, and then he'll, run on 3rd and 11. It's just it does some really bizarre things.
And sometimes that's okay. As long as you don't make a habit of it. But sometimes doing that is a good thing.
Right. He seems to just. I do agree. It's time for a change. Like when they play the power opponents, the Michigans, the Ohio.
How long has
State,
he been there?
He struggles. I think he's been there for 3 years.
I'm just thinking about it. It seems like the style of offense that Houston would like. I'm just, I have. And by the way, I'm going to get this out there while we're thinking about it. And everybody, do your research on this, and let's go ahead and get this going and make Houston at least have to hear about it. If Houston stays, if he retains his job, Seth Luttrell was the head coach at North Texas. He got fired last year after playing for the Conference USA Championship, having a 7-win season. He won pretty much every year he was there. He was offensive coordinator at UNC under Larry Fedora before getting that job. Knows this area, great offensive mind. He's currently an analyst at Oklahoma. I think Seth Luttrell as offensive coordinator here would be a great move, a fantastic move, a Houston Herald, y'all handle the defense, let me handle the offense kind of thing, and we could probably turn this thing around in a hurry.
I love
but
that
would
idea.
Houston be open to doing something like that, or is he just going to want to keep doing the same old damn thing just with a different OC? But that would be the kind of hire that could get me excited, even if Houston stays. Me and Bubba had talked about that at length. I brought it up to Bubba. It was brought up to me by somebody else, and Bubba loves the idea.
Yeah, I love it.
Dave loves it. Matt, what are your thoughts on Seth Luttrell as OC?
Love it, man. A proven guy who knows how to move the football and score points. And
plays fast, still runs the ball a lot out of that spread. Plays really, really fast. That their spread is all about tempo.
I love it a lot. Hey guys, by the way, speaking of coaches being fired, how about Jimbo Fisher? He's out at they're at Texas A&M, and they owe him $76 million. How about that? 76.
Yeah, something tells me that's going to get negotiated. That's a lot of money.
Still, I'm saying I know it will be, but still,
that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of cash.
They should have never gave him that kind of contract that he had. It was ridiculous.
Just like at Michigan State.
I thought it was weird timing firing him after they beat Mississippi State like 52-10. I was like, Boise State did the same thing. They won yesterday and fired their head coach. I thought both those guys, Jimbo and I cannot think of Boise State's head coach's name right now. I thought both of them's jobs were most likely. I thought both of them were going to lose their jobs at the end of this year, most likely. But surprised to see it happen yesterday after wins. Kind of tells me that they had those decisions already made.
Yeah.
And both teams just happened to win yesterday. So.
Yeah,
how about it's really odd, but for you guys for Texas A&M, who would you like? I'll tell you who my number one is.
They got so much money.
Mike Elko.
Well, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Elko was defensive coordinator there. You know that makes a lot of sense. I don't know if I was them, that would be somebody I would consider. They've had the sexy big name hire. Elko's a great coach. He knows Texas A&M. I think he'll be a strong candidate. And also, you know what? They're not going to – I know Texas A&M's got more money than God, but I can't imagine they're going to want to, go drop $6 million a year on another head coach. So Elko would be an affordable hire. I think that would be that's a good choice, obviously. I'm sure there's some other people that come up for that job.
Yeah, Lane Kiffin is in the mix. Mike Norvell. I don't see either one of them leaving.
I would hire Mike Elko over Lane Kiffin.
Lane Kiffin will be there 2 years
twice on Sunday.
Yeah.
Lane Kiffin's not going to have any more success than Jimbo Fisher.
Exactly.
I kind of feel like Texas A&M missed their window a little bit with, they were in the SEC for several years without Texas. They had their chance to kind of take that leap to get to the next step and sort of take over Texas. But now you have Texas going to the SEC, and they're kind of on a roll again. They're always number one in Texas. It's like a 1A and 1B with Texas A&M. But it's going to be tough for them. I don't know where you go, honestly. I just know that the demand, especially in the state of Texas, the demand on coaches it's outrageous. Like, there's probably more pressure on a coach in Texas than any other state.
Exactly.
And
look at the high school coaches.
Yeah, I mean, it's just unbelievable. So I don't even know where you go. But I'll say this, man. If I'm Jimbo Fisher, I'm buying a damn yacht, about 100-foot yacht, and I'm going yachting around the world for the next few years.
Be on ESPN, right?
I'm not even going there. I'm just getting away. I'm just taking my boat to the islands.
Do you guys think Boise will hire Harsin back?
That's what Bubba is asking here. Returns to Boise, Brian Harsin.
I didn't even know Bubba. Me and Bubba on the same page. Yeah, I could see that. He was successful there. Things didn't work out at Auburn, but I could see them hiring Harsin, where I could see him going a different route.
And how about this? Paige is saying that Fisher might go to West Virginia. Jimbo.
As what?
As a coach?
Are they going to fire their head coach?
I think they are.
Since they've been there.
I think they are, Kyle.
Yeah, they're West Virginia, as you guys know. They love their football, and they haven't been.
Well, this is year 3 or 4 for him, and first time he's done anything at all. I I don't know. I like that guy. I don't know why it didn't work at West Virginia. I don't think he's a bad offensive mind. I really don't.
Jimbo is from West Virginia, is what Bubba's saying.
Okay. Well, I don't know. Maybe you will, maybe you won't.
That's Big 12 football. I mean, so it's not like it's really a step down.
But I'm kind of like, Matt. I mean, you got that kind of money. I mean, just do nothing. I don't know. Maybe you will, maybe you won't.
Neil Brown, Bubba says. Thank you, Bubba.
Yeah, Neil Brown, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was at Troy before going to West Virginia.
Since we're kind of talking about coaches, guys, and coaches leaving and openings and whatnot, the one thing that really concerns me right now for East Carolina is
I know what you're going to say, Matt.
Yep, I'm going to say it because I'm worried about Blake Harrell, guys. Yep. He's really impressed me this year. And I think what you're seeing now too, like early in the year, we would play a really good 3 quarters and then we couldn't finish. Right. The last few games, we're finishing strong. Big time. Really, I just think really impressive performance when you're, especially like when you're so bad offensively, to be able to hold your defense together like that with so much negativity, and just a really good job. And he's doing more right now. I think that he gets credit for. So I want to just take a minute. I want to acknowledge what we did defensively yesterday. I've been negative lately. I think like a lot of us have been, just because how the season has gone. But man, just that team was flying around yesterday. A lot of energy. Deontay Johnson is a guy
freshman, right?
who's getting. No, I think he's a redshirt junior.
Oh, he's a junior? Oh, okay.
Yeah. But man, he is playing some serious football right now on the inside. JD Lampley is a guy who's coming on.
Oh man, he made a sack on the quarterback. By the way, guys, we got 5 sacks, and that ties the record for this season record. That is the last we had 5 against UTSA. But man, I'm going to tell you something right now. Oh my goodness, we have right now. Lampley played both sides of the ball. Well, he's from Richmond County, right, Kyle? I mean, I think that's right.
I have no idea.
That's a great program, and but they're moving him to defensive side of the ball and defensive line. That guy to be that. How big is he, Matt? He's a big dude to be flying around the way he does.
Probably about 6'4", 260. I mean, he was 285 or so last year. He lost a lot of weight. He slimmed down, and he's coming on lately. Chad Stevens has had a hell of a year. I mean, we have some dudes on defense, but sometimes you don't see it because we're just not winning. But right. I just like if you can hold this defense together somehow, if you can
hold the defense together, keep the coordinator, hire Seth Luttrell, and we're good to go.
Hey, we got
a plan out for you, Houston. All you got to do is win one more game, and we got a plan out for you. Follow our directions. Administration, make sure you pay Blake Harrell what you can. Collective, let's get some money in there, keep the defense together. Yeah. Let's hire Seth Luttrell as OC, get a new quarterback in here, get some alignment in here, some receivers, and we're good. We're
on the big time. We're big time now because Stevie's got us on the big screen. Stevie Fly, what's up, bro?
Got us on the big screen. There you go. That's
what you do on a Sunday night.
Watch the Sports Directive on the big screen.
Absolutely, by the fire. It's a little chilly tonight, so
I never even thought of that. But with YouTube and Facebook, particularly YouTube, probably a lot of people do watch us on the big screen.
Stevie, Bubba just commented. He said, "Man, Bubba's. I'll tell you." He said that we have faces made for radio. So he said avoid the big screen. That's what he said. I don't know.
That's what Bubba said? Well, hang on.
That's what Bubba said.
Yeah, that's what happens when you don't come on the show. People can say, I love you, man. It's like
Bubba will take us off. Bubba will take us off the air just like that.
I'll bring you back on, and I'm producing as well, so I can bring you back on. I want to remind everybody, by the way, that our great show, the Pirate Football Playback, is presented by L&K Custom Homes. Kevin Walker is awesome. One of the best Pirates to ever play the game. Definitely in the era of the 80s. Call him. He's a licensed general contractor. 336-688-8461. And here's an interesting thing. I was thinking the very same thing. Emmanuel's bringing up one of my thoughts. He must be able to read my mind. But we have the best listeners and viewers for sure. How you like this, guys? Emmanuel says, my fear is we went out and justify keeping Donnie. I think Donnie's retiring.
That's not going to happen.
That's not. What I'm hearing is that the Houston will stay, and we're getting a new, like, basically the whole offense is obviously overhaul.
I think all of it's still to be determined. I think, I think there's a good chance Houston's going to stay now, but I still think one more win's needed. The Donnie, look, I love Donnie as a person. He's a great receivers coach, and at times he's been a decent offensive coordinator. Donnie, there's no way people would riot. You can't. No. My fear would be kind of all right, we're going to keep on keeping on, keep moving forward, doing the same thing, and he's just going to promote Shane Montgomery from analyst to coordinator. And I don't want that. I'd like to see us go a completely different direction on offense. So that would be my bigger concern, is that Shane Montgomery becomes offensive coordinator. We just keep running the same kind of offense.
Justin's saying there will be a new offensive coordinator market. He's very close to the program. I heard that.
Is his name going to be Shane Montgomery, Justin? I don't know, Justin. You gave us some bad information the other day. I'm starting not to trust your information.
He said that Donnie's retiring and moving to Wilmington.
Okay, there you go. Breaking news. Donnie's retiring and moving to Wilmington. Is that official?
I don't know.
Can you put that out there, Justin? I mean, that's on you, buddy.
Yeah, we didn't say that. That's from Justin Butts. So all the people that hate mail, whatever. No, I'm just kidding. Robert says that Houston postgame, put this up here, postgame comments about worrying he didn't have enough points. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You're looking at
what were his postgame comments?
About worrying that he didn't have enough points.
I don't know what his. I didn't hear the comment. Somebody, can you put that? Can you reference the exact comment?
Yeah, I'm not sure what exactly, like in what context.
Worried he didn't have enough points. Well, if he has one more point than the other team, that's enough. I don't
know.
What
he's saying is that we're not scoring.
Did you hear the comment, Dave?
I did not hear the post game.
Okay, Robert, can you clarify the post game comment? Because
Justice said, "What my source says I can't confirm or deny." But somebody knowing Donnie says he's moving to Wilmington and retiring, and I think
I hear he's moving in with Bunk.
Terry Gallagher. Okay. Man, we're spreading rumors. This is.
He's going to bunk with Bunk. So if the previous I'm about to say caller, if the previous commenter can clarify about Houston's post game comments, worried about even having enough points, Robert Matthews, if he can clarify, I didn't listen to my yesterday was a nightmare. That's why we won. I don't think God knew I couldn't handle anymore yesterday, so that's why we won the game. But my yesterday was a complete freaking nightmare.
Well, I'm glad you're better
today.
People have been worried.
Yeah, sorry to hear that.
We had a car breakdown, got in a traffic jam in Raleigh. Not to get into too many gory details. I got a very sick stomach and was stuck in traffic. Made it to the bathroom in time barely. We were on our way to a concert. Said, screw it, I'm going to go home. So go watch the rest of the game. I'm not feeling good. But yeah, being stuck in a traffic jam with an upset stomach for an hour and a half on the way to a concert is not a good combination. It's enough to make you say, screw the concert. We're winning this football game. I'm going to quit watching it on my phone, turn around and go home.
Kyle,
the car already broke down, and there were some other things that happened yesterday that I'm not even going to discuss on the air.
Did you, by any chance, prior to going on this trip, have Taco Bell?
I did not have Taco Bell prior to hitting the road yesterday.
I was going to say, if he did, I was going to say he was trying to run for the border and he couldn't.
I'm trying to remember what I ate Friday night. I can't even remember what I ate Friday night to know if it can.
But it's a terrible feeling.
Huh?
It's a terrible feeling. I mean, it's like,
Oh yeah, well, you're sitting there in the traffic. First of all, sitting in the traffic. First of all, I don't. It was a wreck. I don't know. By the time we got up to it, it had been cleared. But literally, we sat there for an hour and a half. Okay, on I-40. So, and then your stomach starts, cramping, and you got
take
that pressure
147.
feeling, and you can't, and you're just about in tears because you're so scared you're going to shit all over yourself. And so you finally get out the traffic jam where you can get to the nearest exit and get to a bathroom, run in. And after that, I walked out. I told my wife, I said, let's just go home. I said, I'd love to see Alabama again. This might be the last opportunity to see them. I said, but we're now going to get to the concert just barely on time. Like I'm going to finish. I'll just go home and watch the rest of the game. Watch the fourth quarter at home.
Well, let me give you some advice on.
And I had to stop again before we made it home. By the way, just
don't take 40. It's always.
Oh, I know. Normally we don't. Normally we go down through. Normally we go down through Pittsboro and we go down through. Normally we cut down through Apex and Pittsboro, and come back up and hit 40 that way. But and it's a beautiful ride through there. It would have been really pretty if there was the leaves changing to see the lake there at Pittsboro. I guess that's what lake is that, Dave?
Is
that Lake Jordan? Would that be Lake Jordan out that way?
It may be. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, it's like Pittsboro.
I was going to tell you that.
Area. But go ahead.
If you get, it should be Jordan. If you get out that way, I always take the downtown Durham exit, or you can take the 85, the new interstate that they have where they have that loop. You can take.
Yeah, well, you're talking about going north and coming back. I always go south. We always go Apex, Pittsboro, and then cut back up north. And the only problem with going that way, you always get a damn bill in the mail for. There's a toll road you always hit going through there.
No, you're not going the. No, that's what I'm trying to tell you. That's not what I'm talking about.
I know the way you're talking about going north. You're talking about going north and then coming back down. But I don't.
But we don't. It's not a toll. But what I'm talking about is not a toll road. You can go downtown Durham, or you can go out what used to be highway. It's like Highway 70, but they've made that loop around, and that's a lot faster.
Yeah, the way I'm talking about is the fastest way, but some way we didn't go there. For some reason, we just went 40 all the way yesterday, and we shouldn't have.
Anyway, so if you ever going to a concert, and the reason being, guys, is they had, not to get too much, but you have a huge metropolitan area, and it goes from multiple lanes down to, Matt, it's like down to 4 lanes. It's so crazy. You have over 1 million people in that area, and why they haven't spent a lot of money they should have never done it in the first place. I think they're doing some road work and pays is that up in that area, but where Hillsborough area, it just drops down, lane drops. And that's why they have a lot of problems. And now I think they are trying to work on it, but now it's construction that causes wrecks. So anyway.
Well, we weren't even that far in yet. We weren't that far. The traffic jam started around the Wade Avenue exit. So if that tells you anything.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I don't know. Was NC State playing home yesterday against Wake Forest?
They were, but it was a wreck. There was a wreck.
Okay. Well, anyway, that area right there is I try to avoid it as much as possible. It's about as bad as going to the state fair.
I believe they were at home yesterday. They may have been. It doesn't really matter. It was a freaking wreck.
Yeah.
But
let's talk football. So you guys, how you feeling about I know we've got time to talk about okay, Pace is saying 540 is being extended to go all the way around. That's going they are working on that. Hopefully that one day. Elliot's saying there was a fatality at Wade Avenue. That's what happened, Kyle.
That's what that was. Okay. I'm
westbound. He said westbound.
Yeah,
Elliot used to be a state trooper.
That was it, Elliot. I'm sorry to hear the loss of life. Much more important than my upset stomach or going to a concert or Pirate football. Definitely sorry to hear the loss of life, but that makes perfect sense.
And let's talk Navy. The time we have left, guys. How you feeling about the game going in? I know we talked about we're a 3-point underdog, but I really feel good about this game. I don't normally, but I feel like do you guys feel like that there was a time there about 10 years ago when especially our defense was so god awful that you dreaded playing Navy. Now it's such a rivalry to me. I'm looking forward to the game. And I know we can always lose a game, but before I was dreading it because I didn't think we stood a chance. Where now I think this is definitely a 50-50 game, a chance to win there in the beautiful Annapolis area in the Naval Academy. How are you guys feeling?
Greenville, coming off of the win against Florida Atlantic.
Yeah, I agree.
I really wish it was in Greenville. But historically, we got 2 wins against them. Everett was in Annapolis. I think we're going to have a lot of trouble scoring on them as we have on everybody. I think they're going to get a lot of pressure on our quarterback. At the same time, like Matt says, I think our defense matches up well against their offense. What's interesting is Coach Newberry, Coach Blake Harrell, down at Kennesaw State. Coach Newberry was the defense coordinator. Blake Harrell replaced him. They run a very similar defense. Blake Harrell is a disciple of Newberry, if you will. And so while on paper you look at it and you go, they'll probably shut our offense down and we'll probably shut their offense down. They're going to be able to simulate each other's defenses very well in practice. So it could be a game where there's more points scored on both sides than people realize or think, just because the familiarity with the defense. My gut tells me it's going to be a 9-6 type ball game. But because of the familiarity each team has with the defense, it wouldn't surprise me if there's more scoring than people think.
Brandon says whoever gets to 10 wins. So the first team to 10 wins the game.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you guys, I don't think Navy wants this game. I really don't. I don't think they're looking forward to this game. I think our defense really presents a lot of challenges for them.
I mean, you don't think it's the same way around, though? You don't think the way they get pressure is going to be bad for our
Oh, I definitely do. But I think anybody, anybody we play,
I'm used to it now.
But like, I think we have nothing to lose going up there. Right. We do have maybe for the first time all season, we have some momentum, especially defensively. I like the fact that we're going up there with a confident field goal kicker now.
Thank you, Matt. I was going to say that very thing. You remember what happened 2 years ago?
Yeah, and here's the thing: like if we can win the field position battle, and I don't expect
control the clock,
a lot of touchdowns, obviously, but
turnovers. We can force some turnovers.
Yeah,
if you can follow the blueprint from yesterday, where you win some field position, you make your field goals, you play great defense. I think there's a very good chance we could win this game. I feel surprised, and you guys know me. I'm on record saying over the years I'd rather play Alabama than Navy, but because
I agree with you, Matt.
But
I think our defense is much improved where before, like you remember that, what was it, the 2013 where didn't we give up like 70?
2010.
Oh, 2010.
Awesome. That's what we used to be. Even when we had good teams, our defense was so bad, and that's why we're like, oh my god, I don't want to play Navy. I would rather have a root canal.
Well, their offense isn't as good as it was back then. Also, let's keep that in mind.
Here you go. How about this? JR with a prediction. He says 18-14 Pirates on 6 Andrew Conrad field.
He breaks his own record. Hey,
whatever. I don't care. Look, I don't care how we win. If it's a field goal kicker and that's what it comes down to, I am all for it because Conrad has been really good. So not to jinx him, but I think we're going to beat Navy. I don't think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a tight game. We beat them.
I'm hopeful. I think
we've never beat him. Hey, we've never beat him in Greenville, and we have up there. So I feel more confident about that.
I think their defense presents more challenges. I think their defense presents just as many challenges for us as our defense does for them. Their offense is better. They've won 4 games. They got to win 2 out of their last 3 to get to a bowl. One of those 3 is SMU. Obviously, the rivalry game with Army. This is senior day for them. They got this one circled. I think it's going. I think we can definitely win it, but I think it's going to take us playing not necessarily our best game of the year. We can't give them anything. We're going to have to play defense. They're always going to try to hit you over the top at some point. We're going to have to make sure we don't give up anything cheap. It's going to be a game. The line's 3, and I wouldn't touch it. I wouldn't put any money on us. I wouldn't put any money on them. I really want this game. This is one that, despite our record, that I really want.
We should have beat them last year, and we beat
Yeah,
them 2
no doubt.
years ago. So
Yeah.
and it's like a tight game. It's now become where we used to be a joke against them because we could not stop them, and now it's a tight ball game. So, Matt, I want to ask you guys this too, not looking ahead because we still have 2 more games. But as far as the offensive line is concerned, we've had 2 offers that over the last couple of days, or 2 commits that are promising. So, like I said, not trying to look ahead, but as bad as the offensive line, it's worse than I even anticipated. Are you feeling more? I want to ask you guys this: are you guys feeling more hopeful, having looks like some decent recruits, and not only offering them, but they're committing to us?
I haven't paid attention to it. I'm assuming you're talking high school recruits.
Yes,
Yeah. Hopefully, those
and one of
guys
them's a
can contribute.
3-star.
Hopefully, those guys can contribute right away. Your offensive line, we're going to have to get some guys out the portal.
Oh yeah, I'm talking about. I'm talking about the reason I'm happy with it is because that's the position we need. High school is so hard to get good offensive linemen. The fact that we're only 2-8 and we're still getting some decent offensive linemen, but of course, JUCO, transfer portal, high
Oh,
school.
I think it's got a lot to do with
The
I've
fact that we're
often
2-8.
heard no, I've often heard that you kind of recruit this year off of last year. So those guys we're getting this year really were recruited more last year when we were winning. Also, because of the portal, a lot of your Power 5 schools ain't taking any offensive linemen. They're waiting for us to develop them, and then they take them. So a lot of these high school kids that would generally be getting a Power 5 offer aren't getting them now. But they got to be able to come in and contribute right away. We're not in a position to develop players. We have to win next year. So yeah, it's great to get the high school players. So hopefully some of them will be able to contribute right away. But we're going to have to get some kids out the portal to help that offensive line immediately. And with undoubtedly at least a new OC, will we have the same O-line coach? And I think Houston has a lot of say in that, but that'll also the OC will have a lot of say in that too going forward.
I think
we got to
Coach
address
Mo is great.
Go ahead, Dave.
No, I was just going to add really quick, Matt, and I'll pitch it to you. I think Coach Mo is a great coach from what we've heard on the inside and out. I don't think he's the problem. I think that what happened is, like he said privately to people, the offensive line was way worse than what we thought. We didn't think that things were going to be good. But
I guess. I mean, I know what he said, Dave, and I know what you're about to say. And I'm
not saying exactly what he said.
I don't know. It certainly there's a talent issue. I don't know if Coach Mo is a great offensive line coach or not. I know he's got a good reputation. I know other coaches like him. I know at South Florida they sucked, which is where he came from. So I don't know. Time will tell with that if he's here next year or not.
Yeah. We need, what I really want to see in recruiting, we need some nasty O linemen. I mean, some guys that like to get their hands dirty, guys that really like physicality, because right now we are not a physical group up front. One of the big problems we have at the tackle position specifically is technique. If you watch our tackles, and I might get a little into the weeds here, but bear with me because it's something I've observed. When you're an offensive tackle, you want to keep your chest, your shoulders square to the line of scrimmage for as long as you can. What happens is when we get pressure off the edge, the outside foot drops, and our tackle's chest, if you can kind of visualize this, chest is now facing the sidelines. And now you get a two-way rush where the defensive end can either rush to the outside or rip underneath. The worst thing you can do is open up as a tackle. Open up.
So you're like pushed aside.
Yeah. And it's just, your chest is now facing the sideline as opposed to staying square to the line of scrimmage. So if you watch good tackles, they stay square. And in addition,
the technique that needs to be coached up. Then
it needs to be coached up. I'm not sure if we have the guys with the feet right now to do it. I think we're gonna have to. But yeah, there's some major technique issues there, and The other thing too, guys, I spoke with a NFL offensive line coach earlier this week. Won't mention any names,
I
but
bet I know who it is.
yeah,
I know who it is.
So I learned something new. When you're a tackle, and this is kind of interesting. You know how you take your kick step. You shouldn't get contact until your third kick step. So pop, 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 contact. All right, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we're getting contact early, and it means you're not getting back quick enough, and that's usually a problem with footwork. So there's some technique things there.
Matt, let me ask you a question about the offensive line coach you spoke with. What does he think of East Carolina's approach on offensive line? Does he think that we should be running something that like we're running where we have guys in tight, or does he think we should be running something where we can have our linemen take bigger splits? Just out of curiosity.
He likes wider splits,
Okay.
more zone
Okay.
blocking, like perimeter zone, outside zone, stretch philosophies. But I think there's some limitations to what we can do based on our ability right now. And
wider splits to me always, if you're running an offense that takes wider splits, to me you have to have less talented offensive linemen immediately because there's more space. It's harder to get to the quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, and it opens up lanes in the running game.
Correct. Yep.
But if you look closely, guys, there were several times where, we're in a passing situation. Flynn has the ball, and there's pressure coming off both edges, collapsing the pocket where he has to step up immediately. I mean, immediately. It's tough to play quarterback like that, man. It is like I know it's easy to bang on the quarterbacks, but man, it's tough playing quarterback this year with this line.
No doubt.
Yeah, and Flynn does not throw well on the run either. He is. If he had a really good offensive line in front of him, he would be all right.
Right, and that makes a big difference. We got a question from Elliot, guys. He's been waiting all show. He said, Dave, he's talking about Billy Weaver. Billy Weaver said a couple weeks ago, we need to stop spending money on the indoor practice facility. And he said, spend more money on NIL.
I agree with Weaver there.
Yeah. The reality is this. The reality is we've got to stop. We're not going to spend a lot of time because we're over an hour right now, but we'll say, Elliot, we talked about it. I believe it was last week or more, but what we need to do is we need to stop being reactive with our athletics program and have a plan in place that, like Matt will tell you, the transfer portal and NIL have changed dramatically the game of college football and college athletics. And we can't be literally, I hate to use the term, but with our pants hanging down. We're left right now where it's like we're reactive to everything. And so we do need the indoor practice facility.
Build it with what we have. We have
about 15, 16 million right now. And like Kyle and I have talked about, you can build it right now. You can start building it and adding on and adding on and adding on the bells and whistles. You can do it. I want to see new coaches. There's other stuff that we haven't even proposed yet that I would like to see that we can do. But that's not, in other words, it's one step at a time. And by the way, guys,
I think you've got to, if you're the donors, I think, the big donors, all the donors really, but the big donors in particular, I think you got to tell Gilbert and you got to tell Ryan Robinson, you got to tell all the rest of the people that are in charge of such. Hey, look, the money you got now, build the indoor practice facility for that. We are moving forward with NIL, and that is where we're going to commit the most of our money to. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to drop down to the minimum Pirate Club level, and the rest of my money is going to go towards NIL starting this year. I don't get anything extra for the money I give. The points don't mean a shit to me. And I don't like the way the Pirate Club's being ran. So I can only give so much. So I'm going to continue to give to the Pirate Club, but I'm going to drop back down to the minimal level, and the rest of my money is going to go to NIL. And everybody else can do what they want to with their money. I'm not going to advise anybody else on what to do with their money, but that's what I'm going to do with mine.
Well, and thank you, Kyle, for doing that, because if we have, there was Doug Gomes was on Igo's show on 94.3, and you can, if you get the Interbakes Media app, you can listen to it there from Wednesday, I think it was. And basically what we need to raise is about $1.5 million to compete in the American. And when everybody hears me talk about NIL, I'm not trying to compete with Alabama, Michigan, those schools. But guys, right now, we are, even with the schools coming in, Kyle, I don't know if you know this, we are middle of the pack. We're not even at the top of the AAC with
Well,
our
and we really,
fans.
honestly, Dave, this is going to sound stupid, but when I say it, it's going to make sense. We need to be able to beat Charlotte, Marshall, Appalachian State, Georgia Southern, Old Dominion, compete with Liberty. Liberty's got a ton of money.
Yep.
That's just because that's the area we're going to recruit, and along with getting into Florida and probably maybe going up north some. It's not that imperative that we compete with UTSA or Tulane. And some people say, well, yeah, if you're going to win the conference, it is. But we're not going to just start recruiting players we've never recruited before. Now, in the portal, it's a little different. But still, you tend to get kids typically out of the portal that want to get back closer to home. Typically, that happens a lot. You know, like last year, Winstead, a Virginia kid. Our tight end from last year, Jones, was a Charlotte
Ryan Jones
kid.
from Charlotte.
Yeah, Charlotte. So typically, you're going to get kids that want to go back towards home. So we really, if we can have enough money in NIL where we can out recruit Charlotte and all the Sun Belt and Conference USA schools in this area, we will be able to compete at the top half of the American.
And Matt, you and I have talked about it a lot because you're spot on about the transfer portal. Well, not only will we lose guys from the transfer portal, but we can't get those guys if we don't have the money. And even high school recruits now are asking about our NIL. So we're looking at really and realistically, we need to bump it up to over $2 to $3 million a year is what we need to compete, because you're not only talking about football, you're also talking about basketball.
Basketball's easy
as well.
There's just not that many players.
I know. I'm just saying that my point is, I agree with you, but my point is that it's not just football. And he did make the point, which is correct. 70% of NIL will go to football. 70-30 split between football and basketball. And there are even some baseball players in the baseball program that will get NIL. And here's another thing that Johnny, thank you, JR. You keep me on my toes.
I mean, you can pay your starting
He
five.
said there's fewer than 200 contributors to the Boneyard Collective.
Yeah, and that needs to change.
That's the problem.
The bigger problem is it's not promoted right. The university isn't promoting it right. Pirate Radio and Henry's bunch need to get together and let's put our personal differences aside. Pirate Radio needs to start promoting the collective, or either have Harry Smith and Troy and those guys get together and start their own.
Right now they have a deal. If you're a business and you actually give to the Boneyard Collective, you'll get free advertising for the rest of the year, something like that. So for their stations, for Interbakes Media.
I really think this NIL situation, we're going to be able to get this thing up to over $1 million. We're going to.
Yeah.
I really think the biggest issue is that we're trying to do this simultaneously with the indoor.
Exactly. That's why I say stop now and build it for what you have. Yeah.
Well, you'd love to get inside of Gilbert's head about that, but I think once the indoor is paid for, things are going to get a lot easier, because here's the issue. There's only so much money to go around. And, you're trying to raise all this money from, thank you, for all the big donors. Thank God for the big donors. But I mean, you're working on two initiatives at the same time with limited money. Once you can get this indoor project behind you, and I agree, we need to go to plan B on this thing, because with the rising costs, it's just getting to the point. It's outrageous. We don't have the money to build it, but I don't want to abandon it. At the same time, I don't want to abandon it, but we got to find a way to get that behind us, and then we can truly focus on the NIL.
Well, another thing too is, let me say this: I understand that the administration is worried because let's say that we have, we say we're going to indoor practice facility and we start building it and they're afraid of the money. But here's the thing. We've already raised like $15 million or more for the indoor practice facility.
Let's be
you could go
honest.
ahead and start. You could go ahead and start building it, and you can still keep raising the money for the indoor practice facility. It's not like you have $0 in the bank. That's what frustrates.
Well, what is the indoor practice facility is supposed to serve a purpose? It's supposed to be an indoor practice facility. So what does it need to be? Most of them aren't 100 yards. So what do we need? 50 yards. Needs to have a roof. Needs to have plumbing. Needs to have walls. Needs to have a football field. Maybe some nice graphics. I mean, what else do they want to put in there? I mean, do they want a players' lounge? Do they want a strip club? Do they want a circus? Do they want glass chandeliers?
Hey, Matt says we can get 4-star guys out of the transfer portal if we have a strip club.
Well, there you go. I mean, I just don't understand.
A barbershop.
Somebody needs to explain to me why this costs so much money to build. I don't. Call me ignorant if you want to.
No,
I just don't understand.
It's being non-aggressive, and here's the problem.
To me, it sounds like they're being too damn aggressive.
No. Here's what I'm saying. No, you understand what I'm saying. So, yes, the cost of the construction keeps going up. As I stated, we should have already had a plan years ago, about 5 or 10 years ago, for a practice facility. We're playing catch up, right? And so what they're saying is, well, the cost of the construction will, probably be this amount. Well, if we continue to be conservative and, be so passive and not aggressive about it, we need to be aggressive and go ahead and start building the indoor practice facility, because it could be 25 million. It could be 30 million, because we keep waiting. We keep being conservative. We don't need to be conservative when we have money in hand. We have raised this money. We also need to have leaders to lobby the state and change the laws. We have a great chancellor now. Change the laws of North Carolina.
Why was Charlotte able to get money for their stadium? Why can't we get money for our indoor practice facility?
We need to have leaders that go up to Raleigh, and I'm talking about the chancellor, John Gilbert, Ryan Robinson. I don't have anything against him. I saw John Gilbert yesterday. I have nothing against him. What I'm saying is be aggressive and say, we need the money in Greenville, North Carolina, for if Charlotte can get the 25 million, we need 25 million towards our capital campaign. And, like the 60 mil, we have 25 million of it now. But the baseball, Justin said in the last show, by the way, Kyle, the baseball expansion is fully funded. So we have that. We have that fully funded. We have the basketball is fully funded. I believe that of course, the auxiliary weight room has already been funded. So it's like most of what it seems like to me that most of the things now is down to the indoor practice facility. So that's why I'm frustrated with go ahead and get it started, like we said, because it's going to take time to do all the preliminary stuff you have to do, the break ground and all. I don't know all the construction stuff, but that takes time. So you're looking at about a year and a half project, I would think, off the top of my head. When you say, guys, I mean, Matt.
But again, what are we trying to do? Have we seen renderings of it? Because in my mind, it needs to have a door that opens up into a big, giant 50-yard, because most of them are 50 yards, not 100 yards, indoor practice facility with a roof and walls. I don't know what else it needs. What is costing so much?
But it's costing us more when we're conservative. That's what I'm saying.
Well, and that's a good question, because there are no animations for this project, at least that I've seen. Now, I don't get to go to the Pirate Club Armadas and all that because I live so far away. I don't know if they show animation.
Well, they should be on the internet for everybody to see. Might make you want to give a little more, huh?
Exactly. See, this is what I'm saying. Most people are
because we have morons running everything. We have a bunch of friggin' morons. I'm calling them here. I don't give a damn if they like me or I don't like them, or they can kiss my ass. I give them my money. They don't give me any money. They are morons.
How do we not have an animation? We have a few renderings on the website that look very basic. They don't really tell us.
ECUPirateClub.com. If you go there, they have the Pirates Unite campaign, and that shows. It looks like for me, kind of like what NC State did. It's going to be here's what it is, Kyle. I got it right here.
Oh, there are pictures.
101,000.
Then maybe I'm a moron then.
No, they're basic pictures, but there's nothing. There's
no
Animated.
computer animated make you see it in the future.
Like Mike Mullis.
Like, yeah, well, it's 2023. I mean, how hard would it be able to do? I mean, for God's sake.
We're having 101,000 square foot enclosed, climate controlled steel structure. And Kyle, it's 120-yard synthetic turf football practice field. LED lighting.
I know a lot of people have 50-yard ones. Why do we have to have 120? Do we really think, oh, God damn, it's 120 yards. Now all the kids will come. Use some common sense, people. We just need to get out the rain.
Well, guess what? That's modern facility graphics throughout. They have the LED lighting, camera platform, scoreboards.
I mean, that's awesome. We'll play a game in there then, apparently.
Hey, sounds good.
We'll have arena football. I mean, I don't understand. People use some common sense here. We don't need to be 120 yards. We don't. See that. Okay.
Well, I know the frustration. The one thing we all agree on, I don't care about that either, Kyle. What we need to do is go ahead and get it started. And I know there's trustees that are pushing hard for that. And we need to go ahead and get it done. Get it done. You know what? I've said this about my job, my day job. I want a new set of problems. Let's get rid of the indoor practice facility, the baseball expansion. And then we've got other stuff that we need to do. And we can add on to, like we talked about, new coaches' offices. I would like to get rid of the Ward Sports Medicine building. It has been outdated since the 90s. That's another thing.
It was outdated when it was built.
Yeah, when they built it, it was. And I'm not talking about. Notice I'm not talking about the people inside the Ward Sports Medicine building. I'm talking about the building. And so you can have, off of the indoor practice facility, you can have nice coaches' offices and like Kyle
now
talked
you're
about
talking about more money again. No. Don't give them anything to spend more money on. Let's not worry about that later. Let's just get a facility to practice inside with graphics that look good. I know. I'm
saying
calling it a day.
Right. My point is focus on the indoor practice facility.
Coaches' offices are not going to get us any recruits. It's not going to get us any recruits. Just like the press box didn't get us any recruits. We're in a win business, baby. Right now, what's going to get us the players is NIL. Okay.
I agree with you on that.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Yeah, we're in 100% agreement. What Matt's talking about is we're way behind we're way behind because people didn't, and I'm not blaming Gilbert here. They didn't go ahead. They should when they came in, they should have started the campaign, but that's a whole nother story. But
no, we were too busy paying off the press box.
But we need to.
That's helped. Boy, that's helped us win a lot of football games. We won a lot of football games because of that press box, ain't we?
Yeah. Well, what they need to do is they are going to continue. I do know this, by the way, guys. Once we raise the $60 million, thank God they're going to keep raising money, and we need to raise money to pay off that big blankety blank. The people. I love Town Bank Tower. I think it's great. But what happened is they waited too long to build it. Everybody keeps saying, we don't have money. We don't have money. We don't have money. Well, guess what? And then you say we need to do a press box. So what would have cost us way less many years ago?
We could have built that press box for way less than we did, just like we can build the indoor practice facility for less money than we are.
Yeah. You know, the NIL thing, it came up on everybody so quick. It's such a rapid transformation in college.
Oh, I remember Matt when it first became a thing. I said on this podcast, I said right then, let's abandon all the projects and put all money in NIL, and everybody on the show at the time disagreed with me. So I said
I listened to you.
To be fair, we didn't, and listen, I have been.
I got enough sense to know that look, money. Matt, why do you work? Would you give a shit if where you work had nice amenities? Right now, where you work, we won't get into that. But if somebody offered you $100,000 more a year, would you give a shit if their amenities wasn't as nice as where you work at now?
Probably not.
Exactly.
But let me say this though. This thing, when they first came out with this NIL, you thought that the NCAA would regulate it to a point. They didn't know Like, we didn't know it was just going to be the Wild West out there.
Thank you.
And, I've been very slow to come around to it, admittedly, because first of all, I just hate the idea of paying players. It makes me kind of sick, to be honest, even as a player, which is probably kind of seems a little ironic, I guess. I don't know, but I don't like the idea of it. But we just didn't know. I mean, you thought that this thing was going to be regulated to a certain extent. We didn't know that literally anything goes now. And it's been such a rapid transformation that we're already behind the 8 ball. It makes it very tough.
That's because people don't listen. People don't listen. A lot of things could be avoided in life, Matt, if people would just listen to me. I'm just telling you. A lot of things could be avoided.
The gospel according to Kyle.
Hey, I got this NIL thing right.
Hey, when something else, we were running out of time, but what's happened is NIL has finally caught up with us, and so that's why people need to pay attention to it and change. If you want to keep losing, then you need to.
NIL's not the end all be all. Coaching matters. Look no further than New Mexico. New Mexico State. New Mexico State is 8-3. The poorest football program in FBS. Ask Doug Martin. They are 8-3 because they got Jerry Kill, and then Jerry Kill hired a very successful Division III head coach to be his offensive coordinator. So it's who is, by the way, has the same name as Coastal Carolina's head coach, Tim Beck, but it's a different Tim Beck. So
there's a lot of schools. There's a lot of schools doing.
But New Mexico State is the ultimate example.
James Madison? How much does James Madison? How much did they put into NIL?
They probably just as much, if not more than us.
They have money.
They got money. New Mexico State is to me is the best example out there because they don't have any money. So coaching still matters, and you can win because you can outcoach your opponents. But yes. Particularly the way that Mike Houston likes to play football, you better have some players. I said this before to somebody the other day. If you hand Mike Houston a talented football team, he's going to win with them. But I think along with NIL, Mike needs to change his approach on offense if he wants to be successful here. His ceiling will be what we did last year if he keeps doing what we do. If he keeps doing what he's been doing here. 7-8 wins is going to be his ceiling, and if people are okay with that, then it is what it is. But I'm telling you right now, if he doesn't change his philosophy offensively, our ceiling will be, we might have a bounce back year next year, but it'll be 6 or 7 wins. He needs to change his philosophy offensively along with NIL.
All right, do you guys have anything before we go?
I just hope we beat Navy. Just really want to win this game and put if we're going to keep Houston discussion behind us at that point and focus on offensive coordinator
for next year.
Yeah, and looking forward to next year. And I just really want to beat Navy.
That would be sweet, and then to have a Thanksgiving win against Tulsa, that would be great to be 4-8.
You got on a 3-game win streak. That'd be great.
It's kind of salvage the season, right, Matt? It's not a great feel, but at least it kind of makes you feel a little bit better about next year versus losing the next 2.
Yeah, I mean, it's better. It's definitely better than losing. For me, this season can't be really salvaged for me. I think there were just a lot of.
No, I think if you'd have beaten Tulane, if you could have beaten Tulane.
But listen, I would definitely feel better about it. The thing that'll make me feel better about the future here is if we can find a way to keep this defense together. If you can keep this defense together, you then have a chance for a rapid turnaround. If you lose a bunch of guys to the portal, now you're rebuilding the entire show.
Team. Yep.
That's exactly tough. That is tough.
We'll see how it plays out. Well, thanks to Bubba behind the scenes. Appreciate you very much. Again, the Pirate Football Playback brought to you by. It's presented by L&K Custom Homes. Kevin Walker, he's a licensed general contractor, and you can call him at 336-688-8461. Congratulations to the Pirates getting the big win down in Boca Raton against Florida Atlantic again, 22-7. And appreciate the guys, Kyle, Matt, Bob. Appreciate you guys very much. Until next time, You've been watching and listening to Sports Objective, the Pirate football playback, that is, on the Sports Objective. Good at night, everybody, and go Pirates.
I'm a pirate down of my soul, and I don't back down, not at all. Find out when the cannons explode, from the sidelines down to the post. Put it down like not even close, all out to the last whistle blow. For the flag with the soul and bones. Everybody stand up, get your hands up, let a team know that we got they back. This is our house, this is our town, our time, break a 1-9, copy that. Everybody in the stands go bananas, scream loud, but they don't hold back. Every foot, every yard, every first